Hey, this is Evan Power. Welcome to episode 4 of Power Play. Today we're joined by the Commissioner of Education. We're going to talk about his time in the DeSantis administration at the Department of Education and now fighting for kids as our Commissioner of Education. I hope you enjoy this conversation. Commissioner, thanks for joining us. You know, I've heard your name pronounced 13 different times on networks from different reporters. So why don't you tell our viewers how to pronounce your name so everyone can be on the same page?
Yes, for the record, it is Anastasios Kamoutsas. Everybody calls me Stasi for short, so feel free to use whichever works best for anyone.
Now we've cleared that up, you started your life as a staffer. You got to work for Ron DeSantis as a deputy chief of staff. What was that experience like?
It was incredible. I mean, learning from the GOAT himself, the greatest governor that this state has ever seen. It's been a real honor, front row and center, to see every day he comes in with the same passion and the tenacity that you see on, at his press conferences. He always wants to know what's happening. He always wants to make sure that he is fully prepared, that we are briefing him with the full set of facts so that he is prepared to let the world know what exactly it is that we're doing. And so it's been an honor to learn from him. I think you have seen both myself and James Uffmeyer, our Attorney General, his habits happen to rub off on us, and we are unapologetic in the stuff that we're doing, pushing to make sure that we are protecting the innocence of children, making sure that children are treated like the gift of God that they are, particularly in education, and giving them a world-class education system.
Well, you and James both hit the ground running in your appointments and have done a great job and are active every day and make news every day. What is it like being Commissioner of Education following after a Richard Corcoran and a Manny Diaz, who are both larger-than-life figures in that office?
It's been pretty remarkable and humbling, quite frankly. Richard Corcoran, I happen to serve as general counsel under him. And so he was also very aggressive. Let's remember, he fought to keep schools open. He fought on these mask mandates. He made sure that the governor's priorities were implemented in education from day one of this administration. And so I was fortunate. I came up in March of 2019 from Miami, and I got to learn from Richard Corcoran during his time as Commissioner of Education. And I was also fortunate that when Manny Diaz became the Commissioner of Education, he brought me over to serve as the Chief of Staff, where I really got to push the policies that were priorities for the governors and ensured that our students were always put first in education.
Excellent. And you've made some news recently on hitting the ground running, as we were talking about. The Alachua County, you showed up at a school board meeting to talk to them. Tell us what you were talking about and what they need to change moving forward.
Yeah, I wish I didn't have to do that, quite frankly. And I remind folks all the time at these school district meetings or superintendent meetings, I am a former prosecutor. I do believe in accountability at the forefront of how we address education. And so in that particular meeting, unfortunately, I had to address a school board member, Tina Certain, who made a comment related to the passing of Charlie Kirk, specifically the memorial service. And in her distasteful comment, she said something to the effect of Charlie Kirk being an uneducated white boy. Now, I addressed the concerns of the community because it wasn't just me. There are members of that community, number one, that are conservative, and number two, are white. And I asked Tina Certain, how do you think that makes your constituents feel? You are here to serve all members of the community. You have now alienated a population of students, parents, and teachers. Of course, no remorse has been demonstrated by Tina Certain. We will be bringing her back to the November State Board of Education meeting because that wasn't the only issue in Alachua County this school year. You may recall the chair of the board, Sarah Rockwell, at the beginning of the school year actually was unable to control the meeting. And as a result, a circus unfolded. And there was a parent who was providing a public comment, and they actually had police begin to escort this parent out of the meeting because they didn't like what he was saying. He was criticizing Chair Rockwell and her comments that celebrated the death of Hulk Hogan, saying, good, one less MAGA in the world. This is problematic. Children are watching. These are the folks that are in charge with making decisions over the health, safety, and welfare of our students. For these folks to not serve as role models to the children in their community and to celebrate harm against those that we don't agree with is a problem for those who are leading educational environments. And so I call it out every time I see it. I will not slow down. I will not stop. And you can expect more of the same.
I hope you're enjoying this episode of Power Play. We're having a great conversation. Please like and subscribe to this channel, and also comment to let us know who you'd like to hear from in future episodes of Power Play. Well, and these are people who are supposed to be responsible for educating our children, and it sends a message. And so that leads to Leon County. We had a similar problem. You showed up in Leon County and talked to one of our school board members. And furthermore, in Leon County, there's been the inability to give pay raises to teachers that were given to them by the legislature.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I showed up to the Leon County School Board as well for two reasons. Number one, Daryl Jones, a school board member, similarly engaged in divisive comments in the community. I'm not going to tolerate it. He's coming after me for a memo that I sent to all teachers in the state, reminding them of the educational and professional standards by which they are to abide by. Any celebration of a school shooting, encouragement, promotion, even condoning it. I don't care if it's Bernie Sanders or Charlie Kirk. We are not going to tolerate teachers doing that. Students are watching. These folks are role models in their community, and we cannot let students believe that violence is ever going to be glorified anywhere, let alone a school campus. And so I showed up to address Daryl Jones, still another person who has not retracted his statement. He has not apologized for the comments that he's made, but it makes sense. I was on the Preston Scott show this morning, and it was brought to my attention that he's previously said he doesn't like kids. He doesn't care for them. And so it shows in his actions. Our department, we put students first always. I often tell my folks, children are a gift from God. We are going to protect the innocence of these children. And so you juxtapose the way we're approaching education versus Daryl Jones, and it's clear he doesn't have students at the forefront of the education priorities that he's pushing. He doesn't even have teachers being prioritized. And I called out the Leon County School Board for that as well, and Superintendent Rocky Hanna for that matter. Here in Leon County, there are multiple things that can be done to address teacher salary increases. Let me start by saying Governor DeSantis has championed, since the beginning of his administration over the past 6 years, nearly $6 billion to be dedicated only to teacher salary increases. That's up from $100 million the year before. And I remind folks all the time, the governor had in his budget that was recommended a $1.5 billion increase. It landed on $1.36 billion. So we'll start there. Well, let's also talk about the per student funding. Per student funding has increased now to $9,130 per student. That's almost a $150 increase per student. So there's money there that the district is able to use to be able to help teachers with pay increases. But what do we see in Leon County? Leon County is prioritizing administrators. We see that there are administrators that are receiving $10,000 pay increases annually. Teachers aren't even getting a fraction of that. And you see that if you compare Leon County with St. Lucie County, for example, St. Lucie County has 49,000 students, just about. Leon County has 20,000 students less. Yet St. Lucie County has 208 administrators and executive staff, but Leon County has 217. Make that make sense. You want to help out the teachers, Superintendent Hanna? If you remove just 10 of those positions who are making six-figure salaries, now you have another $1 million that's dedicated to the teacher salaries. Just start there. Or how about consolidating some of these public schools that are half empty and utilizing those resources to be able to prioritize teacher pay? And so these are some of the things that I highlighted when I showed up to the Leon County School District meeting. And I also want to call out the teachers union. Scott Mazer has continued to say that he is holding this salary hostage. He continues to say that they are delaying the salaries for these teachers to be able to negotiate. But the reality is he's not negotiating in good faith. And, he continues to say that he's fighting for teachers, but let's look at who is this individual that's purporting to represent these teachers, someone that's making more than double the starting teacher pay in Leon County with a total compensation package that exceeds $100,000. So there's some real problems here in Leon County, and quite frankly, it's a reflection of poor leadership.
Well, Rocky Hanna has politicized the Leon County school system for a while. And one of the things he highlights is school choice, which we obviously have prioritized here in Florida. And he blames us for essentially letting students make a choice to go somewhere else. Talk about how school choice benefits our education system as we continue to move up the rankings by giving kids those choices to go to the school that they think is best for them and their parents.
Well, competition absolutely drives a better product. We are seeing that our student performance in English language arts and mathematics across the state has increased significantly year over year, to the point that we're now at nearly 60% proficiency. And you're talking about a governor that when he started, our numbers were hovering around upper 40s, lower 50s. So we're seeing tremendous progress for these students across the state. It's the result of competition. I also think parents feel empowered now as a result of school choice. So parents who don't want to deal with the Daryl Joneses or the Tina Surtons or the Sarah Rockwells at the school board level, they're choosing to vote with their feet. And whether it's Daryl Jones in Leon County or Tina Surton and Sarah Rockwell in Alachua County, you are seeing enrollment numbers at the public school system decrease. Why? Because parents realize they have a choice. They can put their child in a private school that is going to meet their child's individualized needs. And so parents are doing that, and you're seeing these numbers come down. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing that these bad actors are being held accountable, because the reality is they now have competition. They need to step up. And it's unfortunate to see that Tina Surton and Daryl Jones have not apologized.
Hey, this is Chairman Evan Power. The Republican Party of Florida has a great new tool, allrepublicansvote.com. It is a one-stop shop for voter registration and voter information. Go to allrepublicansvote.com and send all your friends and family there so that they know how to register and vote in Florida elections. In your term here, you got about a year left, a little over a year left. What are your priorities as Commissioner of Education as you continue to serve for the rest of this term?
Yeah, we're going to continue to put students first. We want to make sure that school safety is our top priority always, and a very close second is going to be academic achievement. And so as we continue to work, whether it's through this legislative session or throughout the school year, we want to make sure that we are not resting on our laurels. Florida leads the nation when it comes to school safety measures, for example. And yet, year after year, particularly since Parkland, we have had a school safety bill to build on the foundation that we have laid to ensure that our students are always protected. Similarly, every year we have come up with ways, innovative ways, that are going to help students thrive academically. We will continue to prioritize school safety and academic excellence. Year over year, we continue to work with the legislature and the governor to ensure that we don't rest on our laurels. While Florida leads the nation as it relates to school safety and academic excellence, we still want to make sure that we are continuing to provide the best product for our students. And so we will work with the legislature, we will work with the governor to see how we can address school safety and improve upon that, and how we will continue to provide interventions and opportunities for students to continue proficiency as it relates to English language arts and mathematics. We want the best world-class education system to continue for our students. They are currently receiving that, but we don't want to rest on our laurels.
You know, you've spent a lot of time in the Department of Education, even before you became commissioner. And I think COVID exposed a lot of what parents were learning about the school system. So as you serve as commissioner, when you're done, when you look back, what do you want to achieve that made a difference in education? And where do you think we've come from and gone?
Absolutely. Well, COVID definitely woke up parents, which was great for this state. As a result of the crazy policies that were taking place, whether it was remote learning, whether it was mask mandates, whether it was gender ideology, but it being pushed on kindergartners, or race-based instruction that was divisive and teaching students to treat individuals differently based on the way that God created them, our education system has been refined significantly over the years thanks to the leadership of Governor DeSantis and, quite frankly, the two commissioners who came before me. During my time, we will continue to focus on academic achievement and student safety. Specifically as it relates to academic achievement, our goal this year is to really try to exceed those numbers and expectations as it relates to proficiency on grade level in English and mathematics. What was my legacy? If I can get 100% of the students on grade level when it comes time at the end of the year, that would be remarkable. But I have to push these students, push these teachers, and quite frankly, involve the parents so that they're all working together to get the best outcomes for these students by the end of the school year. And that's what I want to be remembered for: academic excellence and top-notch school safety.
Well, Commissioner, thank you for joining us. I know you hit the ground running hard and you're fighting for students every day. So we thank you for your service to the state in this new role.
Awesome. Thank you, Evan, and everything that you do here at RPOF.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Power Play with the Commissioner of Education. We covered a lot of great topics, and I hope you enjoyed them. Please like and subscribe. so that you can get future updates on Power Play episodes. And please comment and tell us who you want to hear from next.